Welcome to the Trenchless Technology Show. I am Dan Sisko, brand ambassador of Trenchless Technology.
Hi, and I'm Jim Rush, editor of Trenchless Technology, and we're happy to introduce our new video series highlighting the happenings in the trenchless industry. We'll periodically publish these videos to keep everybody up to date on the latest in the market.
Today in the show, we're also going to have Heather Centorbi. She is our event marketing and planning specialist. She's going to join us in a little bit, but now we're going to start with the first topic, and that topic is one that's impacting all of us, COVID-19. So the COVID-19 impact is absolutely still an ongoing challenge to many in our industry. Utility water and wastewater projects have not suffered nearly as much. And one of the areas that we've definitely seen more steadiness or growth is actually the fiber. With so many people now working and learning from home, a reliable high-speed internet connection is critical. So this is a good thing for our industry that an area is definitely more need and continuously going to be there for us to have jobs for. Uh, Early on, we heard manufacturers and crews having additional safety protocols implemented on site or in the facilities to protect each other. People are just been learning to operate safely so that business can continue on, and that's key. I've talked to a lot of advertisers through Trenchless Technology, and some have said things have been slowed, that some have picked back up. Some really haven't missed a beat necessarily, but ultimately they've been figuring things out. And one of the things I really wanted to talk about was how branding is not something that you can stay away from. It's a challenge, that these companies are facing. It's highly important to understand that as a company, you still need to market yourself and be there for your customers. The lack of trade shows is hard on our industry, but we just have to embrace the digital opportunities that are out there. The time is not to hibernate your marketing plan. Companies still want to have their brand top of mind. So the idea that they need to make sure their brands are visible, viable, and valuable. The bottom line is companies are showing signs of hope, and that's awesome to hear.
Yeah, Dan, likewise on the editorial side, a lot of the companies I've been talking to, engineering, contracting, owners, manufacturers, the results have been positive so far. Throughout the last 20 years in the market, we've seen some ups and downs. I think 2000 there's the dot-com bubble, 2007, 2008 we had the housing bubble, and certainly the market was impacted in some fashion there. But for the most part, the need for water, sewer, gas, and electric, it's not going anywhere. So that work still needs to be done. And like you mentioned, the on the communication side, the 5G, that's another driver that we're seeing with things like this. We're talking by video, we're conferencing with our colleagues by video, so the need for increased bandwidth is only going to go up. And again, back to the pandemic, the utility construction markets, the water and sewer, it's essential work. So that work has been ongoing, and we haven't really seen much of a slowdown on that. I was working with BLD for a story in the upcoming issue of Trenchless Technology, and they report that the first 6 months of this year have been very strong, and they expect that to continue at least for the foreseeable future. Barbco here in Ohio, a manufacturer, has reported strong sales in the first quarter and the first half of the year. So that's been encouraging despite the pandemic. And also Ackerman, we did a interview with Justin Ackerman, and he said that they're working at full capacity. They've taken some steps to help protect some of the workers, some social distancing measures like that to make sure that everybody's staying safe. But for the most part, they've been up and running, and hopefully that will continue. I think the one variable here that we don't really know is longer term. How the pandemic is going to impact some of the tax base of some of the municipalities who are planning the work. So pushing into next year, they could potentially have some difficult decisions to make on how they spend their money. But unfortunately, that's just kind of a wait and see at this point. But so far the jobs have been going on, but that's not necessarily the case for everything.
So yeah, so you could say that while projects moving forward, other things are changing, right? And definitely, this is an industry that we are in that, we rely on events, trade shows, and they're just, the last trade show was probably around March for our industry. Um, and Jim, you went to one in March around that time period, I believe, right?
Right. Yeah, I was at the NUCA convention in late February, and then we had our risk management seminar on the tunneling side in mid-March. And the next scheduled event was No Dig in April, so I was looking forward to attending that as well. But it was at that mid-March time frame when things really started to take hold here in Ohio. The schools were canceled for a few weeks with the thought that we'd be going back, around the end of March, beginning of April. So the hope was that No Dig would go on as scheduled, but unfortunately, the difficult decision was made to cancel the live event. So unfortunately, that it's the first time my spring has not included a No Dig. I'd been attending every year since 2001. I know you had a long streak of attending those yourself.
Yeah, 2002 was, I believe, my first No Dig. So to not be able to go to one this year is definitely weird. I absolutely enjoyed the event and everything to go about it, all the people in the industry. I do have a picture, Jim, that I will share with everybody. This was from No Dig 2018. We have in this picture Andrew Farr, myself, Sharon Bueno, and of course you, Jim. And this was a promotion we were doing at that No Dig event, and it was "The future is so bright with Trenchless," and we gave away sunglasses. Definitely a fun year that we tried to do another, just make it different, and that's what I think we have found the No Dig show as a company, representing Trenchless Technology and overall Benjamin Media. We also had the Water Finance and Management magazine being represented there too with us. But yeah, it's definitely different now with these trade shows, not something that's part of our usual agenda.
Right, and I haven't needed the sunglasses while working at home in my basement, unfortunately, but definitely looking forward to getting out and seeing people again. Despite the pandemic, there's still a need for education and events, even if they're not in person. And so at this point, we'd like to bring in Heather Centorbi. She's Benjamin Media's event marketing and planning specialist. So Heather will talk to us about what she's seen in the market as far as trends and how organizations are responding to meet the changing needs.
Thanks, Jim and Dan. As they mentioned, I'm Heather Centorbi, the event marketing specialist for Benjamin Media. And as you can imagine, the events industry has been severely impacted by coronavirus. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with the NASTT No Dig show, as Jim previously mentioned. And the timing of the virus and the 2020 No Dig show could not have been worse. We actually had to cancel the show just 2 weeks before it was supposed to happen. So for somebody like myself who worked on that show every single day for the last year, it was a really devastating decision to be a part of. But at the end of the day, the safety of our attendees and our staff is what is most important. So after we made that decision, we then had to make another decision. We decided to combine the show with the 2020 No Dig North show that was supposed to take place this October in Vancouver, Canada. And we were really hopeful and had a lot of really good plans to combine the two shows and had a lot of good ideas to make it a really big success. But as you know by now, that has also been canceled and postponed to 2021. So our next big decision that we had to make was whether or not to host the Trenchless Technology Roadshow this past May in Canada. We ultimately decided to cancel and postpone it to 2021. But we came up with a really great alternative for our existing sponsors, exhibitors, and pre-registered attendees. Beginning on what was supposed to be the first day of the Trenchless Technology Roadshow this past May, we began hosting one webinar per month that is hosted by someone who is already sponsoring the Trenchless Technology Roadshow. And they discuss a topic that was going to actually be presented on at the show. We currently host one webinar every single month and plan to continue to do so through May of 2021. And it's complimentary for existing sponsors, exhibitors, and pre-registered attendees. But those who don't fall in any of those categories can still attend for a small fee. We had so much success hosting these webinars as a way to keep interest and keep the show top of mind until we all can hopefully meet in person again next May. Benjamin Media also hosts quite a few events on their own throughout the year, and those were our next big decisions we had to make. So we did choose to cancel and postpone the rest of our shows for 2020 to 2021, but we came up with some really good alternatives to keep our attendees in touch with each other and those who they would normally see at our in-person events. So we're actually using a platform called FeedLoop, and it virtually hosts our water finance conference, the Breakthroughs in Tunneling short course, and the Pipeline Leadership Conference. And those are all taking place in September, October, and November of this year. We won't have food and we won't have drinks, unfortunately, but there's still a lot of similarities that are going to take place. You'll be able to see our presenters through their webcams, and our attendees can still network with each other, even though it will look a little bit different than how it does at an in-person event. This platform has also given new opportunities to our sponsors. They have an entire sponsor page dedicated to them, a variety of logo placements around the platform, and the ability to include any kind of digital media on their page that they want to share with attendees, including videos, podcasts, and any other important files. And that's something that you don't typically get at an in-person event. So it's definitely a cool new opportunity that we're excited to offer. And I know things look different for the foreseeable future, but I'm really hopeful that in 2021, we'll be able to get back to some kind of normalcy within the event industry. I know it will look much different when we do get back to there, not only on the event planning side, but for attendees as well. But I'm confident we'll get back to seeing each other in person soon.
Thanks, Heather, for sharing your thoughts. So at Benjamin Media, we're all working remote, but we haven't missed a beat. Jim and I are actually at the headquarters today, but we're in our separate offices doing the social distancing. And then we want to kind of get into right now talking about something coming up very important. Coming up soon is the World Trenchless Day. And on that day, we, and when I say we, I mean Jim, will be announcing the Trenchless Technology Projects of the Year. And it's going to be actually at the conclusion of the Epoxy Tech webinar that day.
Yeah, that's right, Dan. So as you mentioned, World Trenchless Day is coming up. This will be the 5th annual World Trenchless Day, September 24th. And the past few years, we've been fortunate to have a sponsor for the webinar on World Trenchless Day, this year, Epoxy Tech. And after which we will be announcing the projects of the year. This is a big event for us. The projects of the year are a big draw for us every year, coming in the October issue. We had a lot of nominations come in this year, so it's great to see that despite the fact that people's work schedules have been disrupted, they still took the time to submit the projects. And it's encouraging not only to see the number of nominations come in, but also the quality of the nominations. And it's great to see the really amazing work that's being done by the industry. And you know, if you're unable to access the hard copy of the October issue to see the projects of the year, you can always access a digital copy.
Yes, so all you need to do is actually go to trenchlesstechnology.com/subscribe, and you can choose digital edition, print, or both. It's that easy. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us today on the Trenchless Technology Show. If you enjoyed this video, please share with other Trenchless technologists. May the Trenchless be with you. This is Dan.
And this is Jim. Until next time.